All right, this is just from the article right here, and it's showing you that mantle rock contains a mineral called olivine. Well, olivine is tendons, and they're saying it's just a rock. Well, it's not. It's tendons, which turns into serpentine when it comes into contact with water at low temperatures. That is not correct either. Serpentine is tendons in a wavy pattern, which is exactly what tendons are. It has nothing to do with low temperatures. This produces hydrogen and methane. Hydrogen and methane are the product of organic decomposition. Both these gases provide a source of energy for microorganisms to manage without sunlight. I'm not disagreeing with that, but that is not what's going on here, said Bernasconi Green, suggesting the cells found were somehow capable of using these gases within the rock. This is not what's going on. It has nothing to do with life down there by these little molecular cellular structures. They are not creatures, they are blood. Okay, just to point something out here, this is Archean age rocks that were found in the Kola deep earth borehole back in 1989, and they found there was all of these same things they just found again. And it says at that depth it had been thoroughly fractured and was saturated with water. Now this is deep. This is like almost 8 miles deep, I think, which was surprising. They had not expected this, obviously. The water, they think it had to be caused by something else. They have no clue. Another unexpected discovery was large quantity of hydrogen gas. Now this is caused by life. This is the byproduct of life. The mud that flowed out of the hole was described as boiling with hydrogen. That's methanes and all of that business. When they say hydrogen, they mean, I'm sure they mean methane gases and that sort of stuff. It wasn't pure hydrogen. Or it might have even been. I don't know what happens that deep in the earth. And I know the scientists don't know, because right now what they're saying is this olivine is something, the cellular material they're finding in olivine is some living creature, and it is not. No, it's not. It's chelated blood and bodily fluids, and they have a cellular structure like little creatures, and if they examine that carefully, they'll find out that they are not living organisms, that they are the products of chelated blood. And I'm going to go into chelation right now. Alright, this is a fabulous site. They want us to share, and share I will. This is UC Davis ChemWiki, and they are fabulous. Now, chelation. Here's what it says. Here, let me come in a little closer, maybe you can read it. Chelation, a metal ion in solution, let's take iron, does not exist in isolation, doesn't just float around as iron all by itself, but in combination with ligands. Ligands are molecules that surround that central core. All right? Those ligands surround it and protect it. And that central core is iron. And that central core is iron that is part of a complex of hemoglobin. That is the central complex metal that is surrounded by these ligands. And it literally will never let it out. It is surrounded forever until it is touched by acids, or I believe just acids are the things that are going to break these bonds. And the acids crack the bonds of the ligands, opening them up and bringing the metal back out. But let's just read this. I'm just going to tell you how that works. But here's what it says. A metal ion in solution does not exist in isolation, okay? It is always in combination with ligands, such as solvent molecules or simple ions. Now, or chelating groups, and that is what we have here. The chelating groups giving rise to complex ions or coordinated compounds. That's the hemoglobin, including DNA, right? These complexes contain a central atom or ion. The central atom or ion is the hemoglobin, and DNA is all, it's a complex molecule surrounded by ligands. They're all circling it. All right, so holding it in. Now, often a transition metal and a cluster of ions or neutral molecules surrounding it. Okay, so that's just the way it works. Now, then it goes on and talks about how the molecules surround and hold on to. You see what they're showing there? Hold on. They're showing a lobster, and that's what they're telling you, is this stuff wraps around that thing and it never goes away until you hit it with acids, and the acids dissolve the guy's skin, and it would probably, I mean, his crust, and he lets go of that atom or that molecule. And it talks about stability and all this. By the way, I want to show you something. You see all these things? I used to do all this stuff. So I'm not just, hold on. I don't do this anymore like this, but hold on. Just to give myself a little credibility here. Now, I mean, I've done all this stuff, so it's not, this is basically the same sort of stuff, figuring out what the heat of solubility and when things add to each other. And there's a lot of stuff that I mean, this is just the way I did things. Now, and I also did a lot of chemistry, which was the actual chemistry, and I was in, you know, in crystals and all that business. I was in electronics, and so this is not, I'm not guessing at all this stuff. You know, I understand this stuff pretty well. So I'm not bragging on it. I'm just saying that I do understand it, so you can give me some credibility on it. Now, so anyway, we're done with chelation. That is how the molecules are surrounding these DNA molecules. And I have 3 DNA tests that were done in this exact manner that chelation was accomplished on my samples, is what I felt. And sure enough, when they were tested, they yielded the DNA, and they yielded in good quantity, in very good quantity. And I have also things that show rocks literally bleeding, and I'll show you that right now. All right, here's what came out of a rock. You look at that stuff. Now, that is blood. And I didn't bother having this one DNA tested, but I had another lung DNA tested, and it was 100% human. Now, this one here is certainly looks human. I don't know, but here, you can see what it looks like. And you see all those little red spots? They all bled like that. Now, this was sticking up out of the ground, and this got, you know, all that stuff left. But when they're in the ground and they're surrounded by very, very fine particulates of mud, they literally don't go, they seal it solid. And when you take them out and you wash them up good and clean them all up, they'll either just come out. Sometimes you need to put a little acid on it, crack a couple of bonds, and they just start gushing. And I have other ones. Well, I got a lot of that stuff. But my point is that these things were all alive. And Olivine is where they found this what they're calling life, which is it's cells. Now, I have Olivine. I'm going to show you something. This is Olivine from a creature that was DNA tested. All right, and now if anybody can tell me that's not Olivine, I'd like to have somebody tell me. I'm going to show you this on a microscope. But that's what Olivine is. And you see those little flakes in here? Those are what they call little plagioclases. And you see that little red dot there? That's a blood supply. There's blood in there. And this is what they're finding in the rocks that they're pulling out of the ground, thinking that they're something's living in there, growing in there. You see those dots? I'll show you those in the microscope, and you'll see. That's what that is. And this, you see this outside here? That's what they call fascia. And this was DNA tested. This came off of a gigantic fingertip, and it was tested as 100% human. And I have the fingertip. I'll show you in a second. But this has got to be looked at as reality, because this is exactly what it is reality. Now here's another one. This is a tendon enthesis point. I'm telling you, Olivine, there it is, Olivine. There's nobody in the world will say that's not Olivine if they have any idea what Olivine is. And those are the plagioclases. And those little mineral plagioclases are what lock in. This is a tendon ball. It locks right into bone and so forth. Let me come back out of here. And it holds into your bone and pulls the tendon strap. You know, if you just got to look up the anatomy. It's obvious, and I mean, I've seen it and I know it very well. Now, this is on the top. Look, this was another strap coming across the top, that had another ball on it that came out and latched out down here further. And that's what they do. They have mats, and they come out with balls all over them. And that mat pulls on something, and these invest into other tissues and bones and so forth. It's connective tissue. It's fully understood. It's just nobody's thought of it this way. This is the same exact thing that I just showed you, another tendon anthesis point, but I cut this one open and then sort of tagged it back together. Now this was in acids. This was in a volcanic area. It had to be. And the cellular stuff was, consumed by the acidic stuff. So it's gone. That's why there's all these little perforations in there. Those didn't just grow in there by themselves. And obviously you saw the other one didn't have those. The other one was fossilized in a different medium. But you see they're all out here. But you still got some of those plagioclases in there. But I don't think you're going to see too much of the blood supply because it ate out all their organics. Now again, once again, this is the one that didn't have that. This one here was fossilized in a different manner. Alright, so those are olivines, there's no question. Now here's another one. This is a complex. This is a tendon complex which had a bunch of tendons coming all in one shot. And it broke away this way. I mean, that's just what happens in the ground. I can't control that. Now, there's your vein, which is black, and always black because it clamps off. You can't return black blood back into your body, won't accept it. Arterial supply, always open, they blow out or they turn red. It's always red and black because of FeO3 and FeO2. It's all fully understood. This is all the fascia. Now, when that comes out, remember these are straps. And these straps, of course, this is all mangled up. But when they come out, they turn into these plagioclase balls. You see that round thing there? It comes out here, there's like a strap if you could follow it. And it comes out and it goes right in there, and that invests, and then there's other ones in here. There's one that was there, and they're all over the place. Now, then they have like a layer between here that they slide on because there's like 3 layers of tendons. You see that? That was like, that actually literally bled. Like the other stuff that I showed you bleeding. When I open this up, this goes back years and years ago, but this is the strap. And the strap comes up, you see this little strap here? You see that little tag? You see that? That went right in there. And right in there is the ball. It's stuck down in there. And this would pull back and forth on that ball. That's how it works. And you see the vein and artery, there's no question what it is. And it's all fully, it's pretty obvious. And there's veins and arteries and there's all kinds of things. See, it's red stuff all over. This is not just something that grows inside of rocks by itself. This is from life. And every rock you're going to pick up has them. They all have veins and arteries. And you're going to find lungs everywhere. Now that gigantic fingertip that I was just talking about is, I should get the microscope out. Let's look at some microscope shots.